Hello there, my lovelies. How are we doing? Welcome back to my channel, Boomy Reactions. For those of you who are new, my name is Boomy, and thank you for watching. Now today, guys, we're going to be watching another video from Popo Medic. So today's video is the deer hunter that smoked a cartel in 2010. Now, being across the Atlantic, I have probably never heard of the events that took place here. So this is all fresh to me. And as ever, I've got questions. Even before we begin, I've got questions. I'm sorry if they're stupid questions. I really am. But I'm learning. Bear with me. Help me. Educate me, guys. So what is the difference? Straightly speaking, what's the difference between a cartel and a mafia? Help me out. Like, when does one get referred to as a cartel and the other is mafia? Like, what's the differences between them? Now, deer hunter, cartel. I'm trying to hazard a guess as to where these events have probably taken place. Every time I'm hearing about cartel-related activity strictly in the US, they normally kind of take place around like the kind of southern western states. Is that right? Is there a reason for that? Is it, again, it might be a really, really stupid question. I apologize, guys, but there seems to be like a little bit of a pattern, and Boomy brain can't quite figure out the reason for it. So help me out, guys. Let me know in the comments if you know. Anyway, we've done an awful lot of talking already. You know what I'm like, chatter. So let's get on with the video. And as ever, my lovelies, if you are enjoying these reactions, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much in advance, guys. And if you're interested, I have a buy me a coffee account, and that link is over here.
Sunday, November 14th, 2010. Deep in the countryside of southern Mexico, a lone and humble rancher quickly finds himself the target of one of Mexico's most barbaric cartels the world has ever seen.
Ooh, see, again, as naive as I am, I don't know names of specific cartels, so maybe this is going to be familiar to a handful of you viewers out there. I have absolutely no idea. So this is taking place in Mexico.
Being confronted by a convoy of sicarios, demanding he surrender his family ranch to the cartel. But little did they know, this humble rancher had a secret of his own, leading to a dramatic 4-hour siege as he defended his property and dared the men to come and take it.
He dared them to go get them. Oh my gosh. I love Popo Medic's voice. Such a cool voice.
In 2010, Mexico was engulfed in a violent and brutal conflict and was considered the peak of the Mexican drug war, as cartel-related violence dramatically escalated following the aggressive anti-drug cartel campaign initiated by President Felipe Calderon, as thousands of federal troops and police officers deployed throughout the country in an effort to dismantle the powerful drug trafficking organizations that had come to dominate large swaths of the country. And the response from the cartel was not great. Immediately, cartel violence surged throughout the country, both against the law, themselves, and civilians, as cities like Ciudad Juarez became battlegrounds as the Sinaloa cartel fought for control against the Juarez cartel, resulting in the deaths of thousands. And during this war, Los Zetas quickly gained a reputation for brutality, employing tactics such as mass kidnappings, assassinations, and public displays of violence to intimidate both rivals, police, and the general populace.
Los Zetas, okay, known for their brutality. Again, I apologize if this is really naive, but public displays of dominance, violence. Why do civilians have to be involved here? It's to say that it's unfair is obviously an understatement. It's a stupid statement. Of course, it's unfair. But is it that they get caught in the crossfire, or is it because surely if you're targeting civilians, is that not bordering terrorism?
Split from the Gulf Cartel ignited fierce battles in northeastern Mexico, particularly in the state of Tamaulipas. This specific rivalry contributed significantly to the overall violence in the region, such as the mass kidnapping of 72 Central American migrants by Los Zetas in San Fernando in August of 2010, where the migrants were offered an ultimatum: join the cartel's ranks or face execution. When they refused, Los Zetas brutally massacred all 72 migrants, causing the Mexican government to attempt to crack down even harder by dismantling their criminal networks and raiding their compounds. However, the opposite effect would often happen. High-profile arrests and military operations created power vacuums that incited further violence as emerging leaders and rival factions fought to fill the void.
Oh my gosh. I mean, again, guys, I don't watch documentaries very often that, look at what the hierarchy, the kind of power structure of cartels. I would not have even given that a second thought. Of course, you would naturally assume you take out the people at the top because that's like upper management, I guess, the top tier. They're the ones that you want to take out, but it causes power vacuums, which leads to more violence and unrest. And like, what are your options? Thinking, I don't know, like government trying to tackle this problem. What on earth? What do you do? What is the strategy? Because it doesn't seem like you can do anything right in this situation if you take anyone out of that kind of top management level. You're going to cause a power vacuum. Is that worse?
And the human toll was staggering, with tens of thousands of lives lost and many more affected by the pervasive violence and instability. Communities were torn apart, with many people forced to flee their homes to escape the violence. But those fortunate enough to live in remote areas were largely spared. That is until November 12th of 2010, as Tamaulipas native Alejo Garza Tamez noticed increased traffic of large vehicle convoys from the road outside of his rural and modest range.
You'd think you'd be safe in a rural area. The rancher? Is this our deer hunter?
Given the fact that the vehicles in the convoy were largely made up of 4x4 Toyotas, that was pretty much all Alejo needed to know. Over the following day, Alejo kept his eyes open and his ears to the wall as dozens more pickups suspiciously drove by his property, and some even coming to a stop. While working on his ranch, Alejo took a break and stared back, and as he approached the driver, the vehicle sped off. On the following day, on November 13th, the vehicles would approach again, but this time, 10 sicarios of Los Zetas Cartel would knock on Alejo's front door. As Alejo opened the front door, the sicarios claimed to be businessmen looking to obtain Alejo's property, but Alejo called him out on their shit, citing they only wanted his property to use it for their drug operations.
I mean, strictly speaking, I suppose they're in some kind of business, so I guess they didn't lie at that point. Something tells me the kind of business isn't going to be very honest or offer a very good price to poor Alejo here. What is it? What was so appealing about the ranch that this cartel wanted it so desperately? Because I know Popo Medic mentioned earlier, I mean, a lot of these casualties were more in like bigger cities, like big towns maybe. So you'd assume if you were living out more rurally, it wouldn't be as dangerous, maybe. So if this is a ranch that's away from the city, what's the appeal? Why is it just a better location? Is it on I was going to say a trade route. I suppose it is a trade route, just a very dodgy trade.
Alejo's workers stood in disbelief as Alejo took it even one step further and kicked the sicarios out of his home. They laughed off the 77-year-old rancher and stated they would be back, and he would have 24 hours to either surrender his ranch or they could come and take it. Alejo nodded and said, "Come and take it." And on the
Alejo, he's a hard man. He is made of steel.
morning of November 14th, Alejo dismissed his workers, sending them packing through his west pasture. He then monitored the area from an overlook until he spotted an incoming van leading 2 pickups toward his ranch.
Did he dismiss all of his workers before he knew any of this was going to kick off or go down? At least he said. So he's facing this on his own at the minute. He's dismissed his workers. Guys, go ahead home. It's It's not safe. It's going to get messy. I love him already. Aw.
Los Zetas, confident in their numbers and firepower, expected an easy morning, but what they didn't know was the ranch was a hunting ranch, and Alejo was a legendary sharpshooter, hunter, and cowboy who his friends notoriously dubbed Don Alejo. A man of principle, honor, and most important, a man with a reputation whose word is as good as a contract. And as 20 heavily armed sicarios engulfed his fence line, negotiations resumed, with the sicarios demanding he can either vacate or die. Don Alejo, a man of his word, refused again. Growing frustrated, a sicario at the front of the pack raised his rifle and fired a single shot near Don Alejo's feet, shouting, "Consider it a warning shot." Don Alejo quickly raised his pistol and instantly killed that guy and another guy. Oh, a warning shot. Okay, well, here's a real shot.
Right from the word go, he's shown you, Don Alejo, beg your pardon, Don Alejo has shown you, you do not threaten, you don't mess with him. He's met your warning shot with 2 instant kills. Oh, I love him. Absolute badass. I hope he's okay.
Don Alejo retreated back inside his home as the remaining cartel members froze in disbelief. While inside, he retrieved his hunting rifles and carefully placed them next to each window, where he opened fire again, sending the sicarios scattering all throughout his property. But soon enough, the sicarios would draw near and breach his fence line. And although accurate, Don Alejo's limited bolt action would quickly become overpowered by a barrage of automatic gunfire, causing...
Do you think, though, at this point, because he's intentionally wanted them to scatter, I imagine, because he's given off, not warning shots, but, you know, he's given off the first shots, I suppose, from the windows, knowing potentially that they're going to scatter. Was that intentional? Because he's going to hone in on where they are. You know, he's deer hunter. He's a legendary hunter. He's going to find every single one of them. It's almost like this is turning into a bit of a like a hunting game for Don Alejo. He knows what he's doing.
Him to frequently shift positions, moving from rifle to rifle and using his knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver the gunmen and focus his fire on the big hitters. Then, 2 sicarios ran straight for his front door. And as they entered inside, Don Alejo, expecting them, hid in the corner of his center-fed living room with a 12-gauge shotgun and turned them into pico de gallo. Enraged and pinned down by gunfire, cartel members outside began hurling grenades toward his home, but Don Alejo managed to steer clear of the impacts as he was frequently moving to different windows and fighting positions, causing some sicarios to even shut down completely and remain in a hiding spot, causing the gunfire to carry on for over 4 hours with periodic lulls and bursts of gunfire from Don Alejo. Eventually, fearing the police or military were likely on their way, the remaining sicarios fled, and Don Alejo sent rounds their way until they were no longer in sight.
The aftermath. I was just about to say, oh gosh, if to be a fly on the wall. No, actually, I'm backtracking. I would not like to have been there at all. That would have been absolutely terrifying. But there's something so satisfying about hearing, you know, oh, they thought they could intimidate him, walk all over him, kick him out of his property. They've picked the wrong fight. Oh my God. The aftermath. He's okay, isn't he, Alejo?
On the following day, the Mexican military arrived to find Don Alejo's home nearly destroyed by bullet holes and explosives. Upon their arrival, 4 dead cartel members were discovered on Don Alejo's property.
Oh, is this the day after as well? In what I imagine is a lot of heat. Ugh.
And Don Alejo was found in his bathroom with his rifle facing the door, unresponsive. as he succumbed to many gunshot wounds
Oh no!
overnight.
Oh, this is why I asked. This is why I asked. So he wasn't okay. He did get shot.
In the wake of Don Alejo's heroic standoff against Los Zetas, the story of his bravery spread quickly among locals and across social media. However, the expected mainstream media coverage of such a dramatic and inspiring event was unsurprisingly sparse, as Los Zetas had a grip over major media outlets within the region.
Right. See, even in 2010, it's quite surprising. Like I said, you know, this is the first time I'm hearing about this. I have had no information, nothing at all. Why would it not have received more media coverage? Well, okay, this is why. It should have got more traction globally.
But despite their attempts to silence the story, the Millennial News Channel broadcast the story on social media, causing it to go viral, and it was picked up worldwide.
Oh, I didn't hear
Don
it.
Alejo is revered in Mexico with the same level of prestige as Wyatt Earp is in the United States. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more mini docs in the works, and you don't want to miss them. And be sure to check me out over on Instagram as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Oh, is there anything we're missing here? If you haven't already, guys, make your way over to Popo Medic's channel and show him some love. Like and subscribe. Amazing videos. I love watching them. Oh, I can't believe that. Oh, it's not a happy ending. Just checking I hadn't missed any last bits going on there. Sometimes I do. It had absolutely no warning whatsoever that was going to end with Don Alejo not making it through. That's awful. Please tell me that. I know they showed some gorgeous clips of him and his family. I'm presuming it's his family there at the end. Please tell me that no one else was harmed on the ranch. Oh my. See, the fact that I haven't heard of this story, I think is insulting to people like this who have, they've shown such massive acts of courage and bravery. And it's kind of like their legacy, isn't it? That their story keeps getting told globally. I should have heard about this. Yeah, I know that's my opinion, guys. In the same way, Nick the Fat Electrician tells us about all of these stories of these historical figures that I've not heard of before, because history tends to remember the more bigger political figures. And same thing, I think it's insulting to these people who have lost their lives, and by doing these such acts of defiance and showing such courage, and their story should be told more. So Popo Medic, thank you so much for that story. I feel like we're keeping Alejo's legacy alive, that spirit of defiance in the I'm lost for words. I'm a bit taken back that story ended tragically. I think how he resisted the cartel is absolutely fantastic. It's a lot easier said than done. I would not have that level of bravery in me. I think it's absolutely amazing, and rest his soul. Honestly, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. I'm sure a great many of you have heard this story, but it's brand new for me. So thank you for watching along with me, guys. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.